In this video, we explore the vast and noble realm of Bretonnia. We'll journey through each of its great duchies, uncovering the lands they govern, the people who dwell within, and the lords who rule in the lady's name. And in part 2, we will break down the ranks, from the lowliest peasant to the most revered Grail knight. Whether you seek knowledge of its noble houses or the lay of its lands, this is your guide to the kingdom of Bretonnia. The Lady of the Lake is the regional and chief goddess of Bretonnia, loved throughout the lands by mostly all who reside. She's the goddess of purity, nobility, and courage in the face of danger. The ideal Bretonnian noble lady, everything a knight should love and strive to serve. Among the nobility, she is the divine justification for their rule, and the one who grants the Grail vision, a holy calling no true knight can ignore. Grail knights are revered as her chosen, and for most nobles, to question the lady is to question Bretonnia itself. Louen Leoncoeur, king of Bretonnia, is the living embodiment of knightly virtue, a warrior without equal, a ruler without fear, and the chosen champion of the Lady of the Lake. Crowned in Couronne, he leads his realm with unwavering strength, ensuring that Bretonnia stands firm against all who would see it fall. The people of Couronne are hardened by duty, faith, and war. Their bond with horses is sacred, seeing them as partners in labor, travel, and battle. From knights to farmers, all respect the strength and loyalty of their steeds. Life here is harsh, but its people embrace hardship with pride, knowing they stand as Bretonnia's shield. The gentle hills are dotted with sprawling fields and pastures where the finest horses are bred. Despite its beauty, the land is also home to rugged terrain, with thick forests and steep ridges offering natural fortifications for its castles and settlements. To the east, we have the marshes of Couronne. This land is protected by Lord Roland le Marechal, often beside his king in battle. He's not only one of the most skilled swordsmen in Bretonnia, but a master when it comes to fighting on horseback. Roland is doing the kingdom proud in his effort to rid the realm from the evil that consistently threats our sacred lands. The Marshal is responsible for defending the Couronne marches, which mark the border with Marienburg and the Empire. This is a contested land, much of it covered by swamps and dense forests. The men are well-trained and want nothing more than to do their kingdom proud by protecting its borders. To the west of Couronne, we have Longueuil. Their Lord Taubert is a former sailor and renowned knight. Some say during a voyage, he found something related to the end times, something he wished he hadn't, keeping him away from the sea for good. Now his men do the sailing, while he protects his land from the more domestic threats, regularly patrolling the forest to rid them of beastmen. Most believe it's to be as far away from the sea as possible. There are two kinds of people in Longueuil, those from the city and those from the countryside. Those from the city tend to be sailors, merchants, and fishermen, while those from the country are strong, reliable, and most of the time good with the sword. The shores are frequently hit by storms. Luckily, their large cliffs provide cover, protecting the crops on the mainland. To the south of Longueuil, within the vast forest, we will find Artenois. The Lord of Artenois, Chilfroy, is known for his huge stature and great strength. Although he is known to invade other dukedoms from time to time, he spends most of his time hunting monsters of the forest, preserving the heads and pelts of his greatest victories to display in the Great Hall of Castle Artois. The land of Artois is dominated by the dense and mysterious forest. Apart from a small strip of land in the western reaches, the whole of the dukedom lies within that dark woodland. Many attempts to establish outposts in the eastern regions have been made, but most have failed. Some of the peasants in the deeper parts of the forest may never come across an outsider their entire lives. The constant threats to the people and intense labor, mainly from woodcutting, make the people of this dukedom strong, hard workers and formidable warriors. Just south of the forest is the land of Moussillon. Malory, their noble lady knight, is by far the most feared woman in Bretonnia. Although raised as a commoner, a mysterious man in black paid for her schooling and arranged for her tutelage in the black arts, along with providing her with private training in all of the martial skills of a knight. Moussillon is the smallest, poorest and most cursed of all the dukedoms of Bretonnia. The hills are rocky and treacherous, and most vegetation consists of scrubby thorn bushes. A traveler does not have to venture into Castle Moussillon itself to be robbed, infected, drowned, executed or eaten by undead. The whole dukedom is cursed. Most peasants are horribly deformed and suffer constantly from foul diseases. The lack of sunlight and good soil means snails and frogs are the only two resources found in abundance. One of the lordships under Moussillon is Sir Eustache of Grismerie. Eustache was marked out from a young age as an exceptional fighter. The young warrior was sent away to hone his potential as a knight. After he was forced to break his vows, he fled to Moussillon, becoming a sellsword. Soon after, he was found by someone who understood his true potential. Now, he is Malory's personal assassin, dispatched to carry out her deeds. The men under his command have established a small settlement beside the river Grismerie, possibly the only fertile land in Moussillon. Access to clean water and fish has assisted in the productivity of his men and allowed Eustache to keep his wits about him. Another lordship to Moussillon is Castagne. Their lord, Dangorn, also known as the one who charges into battle without thinking, is a very feared man. Although his recklessness has gotten him into many troubles, it also earned him a title that cannot be broken. Some see him as a naive alcoholic, but no one would dare test him with a sword. The people of Castagne, much like the rest of Moussillon, are ridden with all kinds of infections and parasites. Alas, this does not stop them from doing their jobs. Overall, Dangorn soldiers help Bretonnia, as they are warriors and defenders of the kingdom's twisted and forgotten lands. The castle of Castagne, naturally protected by the marshes that surround it, is said to also harbor some dark secrets, although it's safer to stay close to it rather than stray into the wilderness. Castagne has a lordship to its north. Maulièvre, once an archer of Aquitaine, Dreu rose through the ranks, a rare feat in Bretonnia, where some scorn the bow as a coward's weapon. After surviving a brutal battle, his skill caught the eye of the knight Dangorn, who spared his life in return for loyalty. In time, Dreu was granted Maulièvre, a reward for his service. The land is poor, but stubbornly fertile. His people are few, but they're proud. Known across Bretonnia for their wine, they travel far and wide in search of rare spices, perfecting their craft and bringing many new samples each week to their lord. Right in the center of the kingdom lies Bastogne. This sacred home now belongs to Lord Bohemond. He is the ultimate warrior knight of Bretonnia. Even other lords would not test their might against him. He has proven time and time again that he has no equal. This has made him look for more difficult tasks, like slaying the biggest monstrosities of the realm, resulting in his grail quest ending in a fight with the most fearsome dragon. Bastogne is in many ways the spiritual heart of the kingdom, for the great cathedral of the cult of the Lady is situated within the walls of the keep. Some say that the very sacred lake, where Gilles and his Grail companions first met the lady, can be found deep within Bastogne's forest of Chalon. With so much history and deep bond with the birthplace of Bretonnia's faith, the men are found to have more pride in their nation than do the people of any other dukedom. They believe Bretonnia's honor and courage set them apart from all other nations, also believing Bastonians display those virtues to the greatest extent. A lordship under Bastogne, located just to the south, is Garamont, currently under rule by Anara, chosen by the Lady of the Lake in her youth and tutored as a Grail damsel. Unlike her brother's battlefield glory, Anara's strength lies in guidance and spiritual leadership. Since returning to Garamont, she has governed with a calm, steady presence. The people are sentinels over the land, highly respecting tradition. Many serve as men-at-arms on the battlements, while others work the land below. They view Anara not only as a noble ruler, but as a living symbol of the lady's grace. Castle Garamont stands high on a rocky bluff, chosen for both its defensive strength and its commanding view of the countryside. To our east, tucked deep within the Grey Mountains, stands Castle Montfort, home to Duke Folcard. Unlike most Bretonnian lords, Folcard rarely fights on horseback. The narrow mountain passes offer little room for cavalry. Instead, he leads on foot. Respected by nobles and beloved by peasants, Folcard is known to personally lead relief forces, establish impromptu courts in the field, and see justice is served wherever it's needed. Montfort stretches from the Gisoro Gap to the Axe Bite Pass, with most of its land swallowed by steep, rocky mountains. Farming is scarce and unreliable, and even in good years, the dukedom is barely self-sufficient. The land survives thanks to tolls collected along the Axebite Pass. The people of Montfort are tough and practical. They work the mines, guard the passes, and endure the cold with little complaint. Their duke isn't just a figurehead. He's a presence felt in daily life, one who protects, listens, and fights alongside them in the face of constant threat. Slightly further southeast, protecting the border high up within the mountains, we have Parravon. The duke is the youngest of all the dukes in the realm. Cassyon, renowned for his royal Pegasus and his tenacious lust to rid the lands of fiend and foe like no other, but govern his people, not so much. Still, he is a hard worker, and his lack of interest in politics makes him all the more focused in protecting his lands. Parravon lies upon the southern reaches of the Grey Mountains, guarding and protecting the Grey Lady Pass. Towers are often constructed high in the forests to look out for hostiles and are also used to stable the Pegasi. The Parravonese are noted to be calm and harmonious people. Often they voyage the dukedom from adolescence until they marry. Those who do stay to defend the borders are trained at high altitude, making their stamina and toughness in battle one of a kind. Recently, Cassyon has granted a new lordship, Lauderthaire de Sanglac, gifted with flawless beauty and exquisite martial tendencies. One of the greatest knights on a mount. He, on his beautiful snow-white Pegasus, won the title Lord of the Joust at the Tournament of Lyonnesse. Based in the heart of the Grey Mountains, the home of Sanglac lays waste to centuries of humans and orcs conflicting, leaving Castle Sanglac in ruins. Lauderthaire has been given the order to restore it to its former glory. The people of Sanglac are few, made up of ex-Parravonese builders and the local peasants, who focus on rebuilding the castle. Back towards the center of the kingdom, in the west of Bastogne's land, Roudrac de Morneval serves as Grand Prieur. A direct descendant of Corbenic, one of Gilles le Breton's errant knights, Roudrac carries a legacy bound in both blood and faith. When the chapel of Morneval was destroyed by greenskins, He preserved the sacred relic, the blood-soaked cloth of the dying king, and brought it safely to Couronne. So moved was King Louen by his devotion that he established a new holy order under Roudrac's guidance, a brotherhood sworn to protect the Grail chapels of Bretonnia. Currently, the Order of the Lake are established in Le Chapelle de Lacrimore, led by Roudrac. Estrebert de la Maison-Tale is the chaplain of the chapter of Montjoie, and their seat is Beaumarchais Chapel. If a soldier of the Lady is to be punished, the order will be the ones to make the judgment. The king is the only man in the realm with more authority. Most lords are required to spend some time with the order as service to the Lady. This keeps them grounded and true to their beliefs. Within Bastogne's forest of Chalon, you will find the Hérimaux. The faceless of the Hérimaux goes by the alias Wilbert, his true identity only known by his inner circle. Championing justice for the peasantry, he schemes and plots to punish corrupt officials and lesser nobles. He is a staunch believer that the ends justify the means. Sometimes the tip of an arrow must reach where Bretonnian bureaucracy cannot. Known also as the Merry Men, they are a vigilante band of outlaws, almost always led by a faceless, an individual highly experienced in the pursuit of right and justice by unconventional means. The Hérimaux are the finest archers in Bretonnia, known for their pinpoint accuracy, swift movements, and deadly skill in close combat. Elusive and relentless, they are a threat to roaming armies and noble patrols alike. Currently operating near the village of Derevin-Libre, they keep a low profile and can often be found in makeshift camps around the woodland. Now, moving down to the grand southern dukedom of Aquitaine, Duke Armand gained fame first as a reckless knight-errant and is the only lord to set off on his Grail quest in disguise. On his return, he went on to win the great tournament of Couronne and was granted the honor of carrying the sacred banner of the Lady of the Lake after defeating the other lords. Aquitaine occupies fertile lowlands south of the forest of Chalon. Wheat fields, orchards, and overbuilt castles dot a gently rolling landscape, making travel deceptively peaceful. Castle Aquitaine, seat of the Duke, guards the southern approaches and very rarely enemies from the nearby forest. The folk are proud, quarrelsome, and bound by old grudges. With little need to fight invaders, they fight each other, feuding over honor, land, and insult. Their constant strife breeds bold knights and restless nobles, who often leave home seeking monsters to slay and peace they cannot find at home. A lordship under Aquitaine is Harland of Epée. Once known as Artenois, Harland earned his knighthood in the service of Duke Armand. After proving his loyalty and courage in battle, he cast aside his false name and swore fealty to the king and the lady. Though young, he is steady and devout, rarely seen without his two loyal cats, who accompany him even on campaign. Situated near the very center of Aquitaine, Château d'Espée is among the most fortified keeps in the dukedom, built atop solid bedrock and surrounded by dense woodland. Those who serve Harland are known more for discipline than pageantry. His household is small but fiercely loyal. In a land known for its feuds, Epée remains unusually calm, a quiet stronghold where duty outweighs pride. Here we have Lord Theodoric of Brionne on the southwest coastline, a lover and a fighter. Insistent to stand front and center when leading his army, taking great delight in the slaughter. Away from battle, he is a connoisseur of art and song, somewhat a minstrel. Brionne is the least threatened of the Bretonnian dukedoms, located at the southern tip of the western coast, famous for its tranquil landscape and beautiful architecture at the cost of its practicality. The Brionnians are frequently enticed by poetry, the arts, and literature, resulting in them being aristocrats and gentlemen. The peasants are repeatedly forced to clean the streets after the noblemen, along with reconstructing new landscapes for the beauty of the land, rather than the defense of it. As a result of being rarely attacked by larger threats of the kingdom, they have had plenty of time to train. The cohesion and formation training is normally on full display, resulting in an elegance and efficiency not seen in most retinues. A lordship granted by Brionne is Frontier, which is located slightly to the southeast. A Grail Knight of Brionne, Laurent is a figure of legend. He watches over the castle of Frontier, the place where he once repelled a great Norse besiegement almost single-handedly. His presence there is both a reminder of that victory and a warning to those who would test the lady's will. Though smaller than Brionne's coastal citadels, the Keep of Frontier guards a Grail chapel, which is said to hold relics of the early questing knights. The folk of Frontier are deeply loyal to their lord. Many have witnessed Alaron defend his keep, and they see him as their protector. Peasants tend the chapel and vineyards, and some even take up arms, forming a modest but disciplined militia. Keeping watch and protection over the southern border is Gasconnie. The current ruler of Gasconnie is Lord Hubold. No one who knows him has ever seen him smile, never mind laugh. Small in stature, yet known not for his strength but his speed, ferociousness, and his ability to only speak when absolutely necessary. A highly respected duke by most knights, he is not to be taken lightly and will quickly put his enemy on the back foot. The dukedom of Gasconnie lies within the southern borders of Bretonnia. There are narrow bands of arable land along portions of the major rivers, but it's mainly pastoral or mountainous terrain. Gasconnie Castle is designed to be defensible, yet it is treated more as a base camp. In the case of a siege, Hubold would simply resort to falling back to Brionne to increase his tactical advantage. The people of Gasconnie are martial-minded, believing prowess at arms is their birthright and their duty. Almost everyone from this dukedom will have some form of military training, even the peasants. Taubert de Bagnac is a battle-hardened knight of Gasconnie, known as much for his booming voice as for the great sword slung across his back. Once the orphaned son of an innkeeper, Therma's path to knighthood began, when his courage caught the eye of Duke Hubold, who took him as his squire. Always ready for a drink after a fight, Théomer is beloved by his men and feared by the greenskins that haunt Gasconnie's borderlands. The village of Bagnac lies along the Great South Road. Though small, it thrives thanks to its position on the main route between Gasconnie and the northern dukedoms. Here, Lord Théomer maintains a small but well-trained militia. Bagnac's folk are a rough and ready bunch shaped by frontier life and long winters on the road. Many families trace their bloodlines to soldiers, stable masters, or wandering knights who chose to settle here. Now you have seen the great lords and ladies who rule Bretonnia, holy guardians and fierce defenders. But the realm does not stand still. New lords will rise, and old ones will fall. Glory is never given, it is earned in blood and battle. Next time we ride deeper into Bretonnia's heart, to uncover the ranks of power and learn what it truly means to serve the lady. Until then, come and join. Sharpen your blade, lift your banner high, and ride with honor. The lady awaits.